He left me broke, bedridden, rotting in a hospital bed, penniless, while he kept every cent that was supposed to be mine. 7 years. I gave that man 7 years of my life, and then I destroyed him. But here's the thing, he never saw it coming. Let me take you back to the beginning. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what I went through and what I did about it. I'm a tradesman, a welder, but it didn't start that way. I graduated from a tech program right when the global economy collapsed. The companies that had promised me jobs vanished overnight. The scholarships evaporated. The future I was sold, gone. So I spent my 20s grinding through dead-end jobs, save money, get laid off, burn the savings, repeat over and over again, like a nightmare you can't wake up from. Then, fate. A government program dropped at exactly the right moment. Free welding training. I signed up, and within days of finishing, I had a job offer. That's where I met him. Meet Victor, the man I'll call Rat Boss. Victor ran a small field welding crew. 6 men, traveling all across Europe. Hard work, long hours, but real money and real adventure. He promised to teach me everything. Real welding, the kind schools don't teach you. And for 6 years, he kept that promise. Dawn to dusk, 7 days a week, away from home for months at a time. But we were brothers, complete strangers who became family. Victor was the kind of boss legends are made of. One time, he took out a high-interest personal loan, just so he could pay us on time when his own account ran dry. He went into debt before he'd ever ask us to wait. Those were good days. The best days, actually. But good days never last forever. The betrayal. By year 7, the crew that built something together had scattered. Everyone missed their families too much to keep going. Even Victor himself went home. He left me in charge as foreman. He'd find the workers, I'd manage the jobs. At first it worked, but then the pandemic hit and shut everything down. When things reopened, something had changed. The workers Victor was sending me were different. Drunkards, thieves, men with nothing to lose and no interest in doing the job right. I kept the work going anyway. That's what a foreman does. But the incidents kept piling up. And worse, so did the problems with money. Wages came in late. Travel expenses went unpaid. And Victor started getting creative with the numbers. The kind of creative that moves money from your pocket into his. Then came the phone call that broke everything. 3 in the morning, one of my workers had been arrested. Drunk and disorderly. No ID on him, just a company badge. The police called our client. The client called me. I had to go pick him up. In the middle of the night before, I was supposed to drive the whole crew home. I sat Victor down when I got back. Told him I was done with the chaos. Told him it was time to settle accounts. He apologized. Halfway. Said his wife was causing problems. Said money was tight. Then he asked me to stay on just a little longer. Minimum wage. Just until he could rebuild a proper crew. And I said yes. 7 years of trust will do that to you. But I set one condition. By the end of September, I needed half of what he owed me in travel expenses. He'd been letting it pile up for almost a year. 2,000 miles a month. That's serious money. He looked me in the eye and said, "That shouldn't be a problem." Even on minimum wage, the payments came in late. My gut was screaming at me. I watched him closely. Then, right as September arrived, right when he was supposed to pay, Victor sent me a cheerful message. Said he was heading abroad to meet a potential new client. Big opportunity, exciting times. He was running. I knew it the second I read that message. He was going to disappear until the deadline passed. I made a decision right then. If that money didn't arrive on time, I'd file my resignation the exact day it was due, and then I'd start making calls. But then, something went wrong on my end too. Distracted, furious, running on stress and barely any sleep. I slipped on a ramp at a job site. Not a sprain, not a torn ligament. I shattered my ankle. Emergency surgery. 2 weeks in hospital. 6 months before I could walk properly again. And while I was lying there, medicated, helpless, the deadline came and went. No money from Victor. Not for the travel expenses. Not even my regular wage that month. Not a single cent. My mother, who had emergency access to my accounts, used my savings to pay for house renovations that were already in progress. She assumed sick leave would cover everything. It didn't. Because in my country, when sick leave runs longer than a month due to a work injury, the government pays it, but routes it through the employer first. Victor pocketed it. Every penny the government sent him meant for me. He kept it. I ran out of money in a hospital bed. I had to cash in a long-term investment, one that would have generated passive income for the rest of my life, just to survive and pay off a debt that was almost gone. Gone. Because of him. Here's something you should know about Victor. He lived in a tiny apartment in the city. Cramped. His family of 4 practically lived on top of each other. But he had a dream, a plot of land, a house he was building, slowly, brick by brick over 7 years. A house so big that a single room would be larger than his entire apartment. He told me once, with real pride in his voice, that he was maybe 6 months from moving in. Here's the other thing you should know about me. As foreman, I handled all the paperwork, every job, every purchase, every contract, every financial decision Victor made. I had it all. The moment I could walk, dragging one recovering foot behind the other, running on painkillers, I started making visits. The labor inspectorate, the tax authority, every government agency that had any jurisdiction over what Victor had done. I handed over everything. Every document, every record. I watched the caseworker's face as she went through it all. She murmured under her breath, wide-eyed, something along the lines of, "He broke half the labor laws in this country." Then the government moved. Victor's bank accounts were frozen. His business licenses were suspended. He was barred from traveling. He was legally required to pay severance to all his current workers. Money he didn't have. He filed for bankruptcy. And the house? The dream he spent 7 years building brick by brick? Sold. To pay the fines. He called me after the gavel fell. He was screaming, cursing, asking how I could do this to him. I told him exactly what he did to me. Every lie, every unpaid cent. Every month I spent recovering with nothing in my account because he stole money the government sent for me. Then I told him we were in a legal dispute now, and that all future communication should go through the Labor Inspectorate's case office. And I hung up. From the bankruptcy proceedings, I recovered 1 month of sick leave. That's it. No travel costs. Nothing else. But that's okay, because I can walk again. I rebuilt. I moved on. Victor? He's still trapped in that sardine can of an apartment. No business, no income, no house, no future. Not yet, anyway. Just a long road back from the bottom to maybe, someday, reach rock bottom and start over. This story ended 2 years ago. The anger is gone. The resentment, mostly gone too. I won't claim the moral high ground here. I know what I did, and I'd do it again. Because sometimes when someone takes everything from you and smiles while they do it, the law is the most powerful weapon in the room. And I used it. But here's the question I'll leave with you. When someone destroys your trust after 7 years, when they steal from you while you're lying in a hospital bed, is burning their world down justice? Or is it just revenge? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you've ever had a boss like Victor, you already know the answer.